At 22, Nate Collins used one battered HVAC van to build a $2.4 million company, and the strange part is that he almost destroyed it faster than he built it. In this video, we're breaking down how a broke installer turned emergency no-call calls into a seven-figure operation, what nearly killed the business, and the systems that finally made growth safe. Because when payroll hits Friday and your receivables are stuck in 30-day limbo, ambition stops feeling inspiring and starts feeling expensive. Later, I'll show you the exact mistake that left Nate 11 days from missing payroll for 8 employees. Nate did not come from money. He started as a maintenance tech at a tired apartment complex outside San Antonio, fixing condensers in July heat and changing filters before sunrise. At night, he ran side jobs from a handwritten notebook, collecting checks, watching older owners mark up repairs, and realizing the real money was not in turning wrenches. It was in controlling the phone, the pricing, and the follow-up. That realization changed everything. So he set a simple goal: save $12,000, buy a van nobody wanted, and keep enough cash left for licensing, insurance, and parts. By 22, he had $11,400 from overtime, weekend installs, and selling an old fishing boat. He found a used Ford Transit with 182,000 miles, a leaking door seal, and just enough life left to make one big bet. He paid cash, lettered the doors with a cheap local sign job, and opened Clearpeak Heating and Air from his duplex driveway. The first 90 days were ugly, but they were profitable. Nate answered every call himself, showed up fast, and charged a diagnostic fee even when competitors advertised free estimates. Why? Because free work attracts price shoppers, but paid diagnostics attract people who want a solution. That one decision gave him cash today instead of promises tomorrow. He also priced by outcome, not by hours. A capacitor swap was never 15 minutes. It was restored cooling, same-day service, and somebody sleeping comfortably that night. Within 6 months, the van was posting $42,000 months on service, tune-ups, and a few small change-outs. More important, Nate tracked every invoice by lead source, zip code, and gross margin, so he knew which jobs felt busy and which jobs actually paid. His marketing was basic and almost free. He filmed short repair explainers in parking lots, posted before and after blower cleanings, asked every happy customer for a review before he left the driveway, and sent simple reminder texts before seasonal tune-up months. It worked because people do not hire HVAC companies when they are calm. They hire the name they remember when the house turns hot at 8:30 at night. By the end of year 1, Clearpeak had 2 vans, 1 install helper, 1 service tech, and just over $780,000 in revenue. That sounds like success, and on the outside it was. But if you have ever owned a trade business, you know revenue can lie. Revenue is loud. Cash flow is survival. Nate learned that the hard way in his second summer. Demand exploded, so he chased apartment complex replacements, new construction rough INS, and any install large enough to make the weekly revenue board look impressive. The problem was hidden inside the pricing. Several jobs were bid from old supplier sheets. Labor was guessed. Crane charges were missed. Permit costs were buried. Financing fees were ignored. He was booking work, but he was buying revenue at a discount. Then came the punch nobody plans for. A senior tech he trusted started taking weekend leads off the company phone, running private side work with company parts, and leaving Nate to cover the callbacks. At the same time, one property manager stretched payment terms past 60 days. That was the moment growth turned dangerous. In one 6-week stretch, Clearpeak installed 12 systems, posted its biggest sales month, and still ended up nearly broke. Payroll was due in 11 days. Vendor balances were stacking up. 2 compressors failed under warranty. 1 van needed a transmission. The bank account dropped below $14,000 with 8 people depending on Friday. What do you do when the company looks successful online but feels like it is drowning off camera? Nate shut the office door, printed every open job, and built a brutal one-page scoreboard: cash in bank, receivables by age, gross profit by job, and payroll due dates. No motivation talk. No fake optimism. Just numbers. The fastest way out is through the numbers. First, he changed pricing. Service tickets had to hit a minimum average invoice. Installs needed target gross margins before they were sold. If a replacement job could not clear 45% gross after labor burden and financing costs, it did not get booked. He stopped selling cheap comfort and started selling reliable outcomes. Second, he fixed cash flow rules. Residential installs required deposits before equipment was ordered. Commercial customers with slow pay lost priority. 10% of gross went into a tax account, 10% into an equipment reserve, and another 5% into a bad month buffer that nobody touched. That reserve looked boring until it saved the company. Third, he got serious about people and process. He fired the tech-stealing leads, tightened inventory control, and stopped hiring from rushed 10-minute interviews. Every candidate now rode along, ate lunch with the team, and answered questions about safety, paperwork, and customer trust. Skills can be trained. Character invoices you later. Fourth, he delegated the work that kept bottlenecking growth. A part-time bookkeeper cleaned up job costing. A dispatcher handled routing and membership reminders. Nate stayed focused on sales calls, install estimates, supplier negotiations, and training. Would you rather feel busy or actually build a company? Fifth, he narrowed sales. Instead of driving 40 miles for weak leads, he focused on neighborhoods where ClearPeak already had reviews, older systems, and strong close rates. He added maintenance memberships, financing options, and a next-day replacement promise for qualified jobs. Within 4 months, average ticket size climbed, install margin stabilized, and the company stopped begging its own future for cash. The bad summer did not kill ClearPeak. It gave the business adult supervision. In year 3, revenue passed $2.4 million, making Nate a paper millionaire at last. By 2026, Nate had 6 service vans, 2 install crews, a comfort advisor, a dispatcher, a bookkeeper, and recurring membership income that smoothed the shoulder seasons. He was still younger than many of his lead techs, but he had learned the difference between running calls and running a company. And that is the part most blue-collar owners miss. The trade gets you in the door. The scoreboard keeps you in business. If your phone rang twice as much tomorrow, would your systems make you richer or just busier? Takeaway number 1, price from math, not fear. Know your labor burden, parts cost, financing fee, warranty risk, and target gross margin before you hand over a quote. If the numbers do not work on paper, they will not work in the field. Takeaway number 2, cash collected beats profit projected. Deposits, faster payment terms, and separate reserve accounts can save a good company from a great month. Takeaway number 3, hire for trust before talent. A great technician who steals leads, hides mistakes, or disrespects customers is not an asset. He is delayed debt. Takeaway number 4, marketing does not need to be fancy. Reviews, short videos, fast callbacks, and neighborhood density can outperform expensive leads if you track the source and close rate. Takeaway number 5, when the owner touches everything, growth eventually stalls. Bookkeeping, dispatch, and follow-up are usually the first jobs to delegate because they protect both time and cash. Takeaway number 6, track the work that repeats. Maintenance memberships and referral loops make slow seasons survivable. Nate's company was not saved by hustle alone. It was saved by fewer bad jobs, tighter rules, better people, and the discipline to stop confusing movement with progress. Busy is not the same as profitable. If you are on the tools right now, Ask yourself one honest question: are you building a job with overhead, or a company with systems? One more thing mattered. Nate rebuilt supplier relationships. He negotiated volume rebates, standardized 3 equipment lines instead of 7, and stocked the common failure parts his techs used every week. That cut wasted trips, reduced callback time, and gave dispatch cleaner scheduling blocks. He also became selective about customers. Late pairs, chronic complainers, and bargain hunters were no longer treated like gold. The team built a simple customer scorecard: payment speed, approval rate, callback history, and referral potential. High-score clients got priority slots, membership offers, and follow-up. Low-score clients got polite boundaries and full-price terms. That sounds small, but better customers create better businesses. Today, Clearpeak is worth far more than the van it started with because Nate stopped chasing every dollar and started protecting the right ones. If this breakdown helped you think differently about pricing, hiring, or cash flow, hit like and subscribe to Work Boots to Wealth. We tell blue-collar business stories that do more than motivate you. They show the math behind the climb. And if you are building from a truck, a trailer, a shop, or a garage, stay with us, because the next turnaround might look a lot like yours. The tools may start the journey, but disciplined decisions build the wealth. That is the real story here, and it is why a young technician with a worn-out van now owns a business instead of merely owning a harder job for himself today.